The next point of education to review is closeouts on jump shots. Here, the highlighted defensive player, KJ Simpson, was correctly assessed a flagrant foul, penalty 1, for his reckless closeout on the shot attempt by the offensive player, Jalen Brunson. The replays show that Simpson did not provide space for Brunson to safely return to the floor. And as this closeout was reckless, and there is a clear potential for injury, this was correctly ruled a flagrant foul, penalty 1. Let's review another example of illegal contact by a defender on a closeout. The highlighted defensive player, Jabari Smith Jr., closes out toward the shooter, Andrew Wiggins, and there will be contact on the play between the two players. But as the closeout by Smith was not reckless, and the contact made here is to the leg of the shooter and is not an undercut, this is not a flagrant foul. To be clear, this is still a defensive foul for the illegal leg-to-leg contact, but again, it is not a flagrant foul. Here, we will see another example of a defensive foul on a closeout. The highlighted defender, Marvin Bagley III, closes out toward the shooter, Sante Aldama. But while the closeout here by Bagley is not reckless, he does initiate leg-to-leg contact with the shooter. This contact is more than marginal, and a defensive foul call was needed on this play. The final play in this section will show an example of an offensive foul that occurs on a closeout by a defensive player. The offensive player, LaMelo Ball, extends his right leg out in front of him, and he makes illegal contact with the defender, Haywood Highsmith, taking Highsmith out of normal play and sending him to the floor. The offensive foul was correctly called here by the trail official. The final point of education to review is flopping. On this example, the highlighted player, Jalen Suggs, falls to the floor in an exaggerated and theatrical manner following minimal contact with his opponent, Bradley Beal. As Suggs' reaction was inconsistent with the nature of the contact on the play, a flopping violation was correctly called and a non-unsportsmanlike technical foul was assessed. The next play in this section will show an example of a flopping violation that was assessed post-game, but one that should have been called during the game. The highlighted defensive player, Scottie Pippen Jr., reacts to marginal contact by his opponent, DeMar DeRozan, by falling backwards an exaggerated distance and also flailing his arms out in a theatrical manner. Pippen's reaction was inconsistent with the contact that occurred on the play. A flopping violation should have been called here, and a non-unsportsmanlike technical foul needed to be assessed. Next, we will see an example where a flopping violation was incorrectly assessed during the game. The highlighted offensive player, Brandon Miller, attempts a three-point field goal, and the defensive player, Caleb Martin, challenges the shot. After the shot is released, Miller trips after making incidental contact with Martin, and he falls to the floor. Miller's reaction here is not exaggerated, nor is it theatrical, and therefore the flopping violation that was called on this play was incorrect. Next, we will see an example of a play where a flopping violation was correctly not assessed. The highlighted offensive player, Fred VanVleet, attempts a three-point field goal, and the defensive player, Rob Dillingham, challenges the shot. After the shot is released, VanVleet sits down in a reflexive action, but his reaction is not exaggerated, nor is it theatrical, and therefore no flopping penalty was needed nor assessed here.